welcome to another episode of SLC Punkcast live around the world, where we tell you about all the shows that are happening and all the shows that we've been to. And I'm going to tell you about the shows that I've been to in the last week, the first of which was seeing one of the best metal bands on the planet, and then Iron Maiden. Okay, I'm just kidding. Yes, it was Iron Maiden. The other band is not even really metal. Their opening act, The Who, and I mean Who from Mongolia, H-U, Who. They were opening up. They were Iron Maiden's opening act, and honestly, it's no easy task being the opening act for the band Iron Maiden. It was best put in one of Henry Rollins' spoken word bits where he was talking about Rollins' band opening up for Iron Maiden back in the 90s, saying that all these thousands of people are here to see this band. They have been counting down the days to be seeing them, making sure the ink didn't smudge on their ticket stubs, and they are all here, and you are performing in front of them. The downside is, you are not the band they are here to see. So yeah, but people took to The Who very well. In fact, The Who, their music, if you've listened to it, is Mongolian folk metal. It's complete with a throat singing and everything, and it sounded a lot bigger. It really translated well to the arena. It was awesome. Everything just sounded big. That's the best way I can put it. Their music sounded like it was made for the arena, but the way that their sound technician was harnessing everything, it really carried over, and people were getting into it. People were loving it. And then, let's cut to the chase. Iron Maiden, yep, they're Iron Maiden. The whole stage goes dark, and then you start seeing these flashing lights, and these, it was looking like the movie Tron, where all those light up tracks come in. And yeah, it was them paying tribute, not exactly paying tribute, but really like setting the scene for their Caught Somewhere in Time album. That was the album they were really celebrating this tour run. And they actually had some of the music from Blade Runner, and these sound swells to really hype up the crowd, and it just keeps building and building, and then all 6 members of Iron Maiden walk on stage, and then there is no sound. They're all playing. We know that they're playing. We can hear them a little bit, but there is no sound. They can hear themselves, but the output is not coming out towards the crowd. And I know what song they're playing. They're playing the title track of Somewhere in Time. And they were just looking at us. They could sense that the crowd was off. And then they realized they can't hear us. They can't hear us. And Bruce is yelling over the side of their sound technician like, we couldn't hear what he was saying, but he's like, come on. And then about halfway through the song, like around the time when the second chorus came up, that's when the sound came up. It's like, there we go. And yeah, Bruce called notice of the fact after that. He was like, the sound technician's been fucking with something, and yeah, just sort of screwed us over on the sound. Anyway, they played a lot of deep cuts from Somewhere in Time, playing songs like Heaven Can Wait, Alexander the Great, and then some of the stuff off of Senjutsu, like Writing on the Wall, and I can't remember the other one, the fucking Death of the Celts, or the Celts. And then they did stuff like Fear of the Dark, and then Prisoner. They also did Can I Play with Madness, and they closed their set out with Wasted Years, and that was a great time. But they played hardly any classics. There was, weirdly enough, no Aces High, no Number of the Beast, no Run to the Hills. And although we did get The Prisoner and The Trooper, there was still, it still felt like something was missing. And it was only after the fact. I was talking with some friends after the show, and I brought this up with them, and they said, yeah, well, you know what? I'm kind of okay they didn't play that, because I've heard Number of the Beast so many times. I've heard Run to the Hills so many times. I think they're getting sick of playing it. I said, okay, yeah, granted, that is a fair point. They have a lot of hits that everyone knows. Front to back is practically background noise. but it's different when you hear it live. It just feels incomplete. But what can you do? What can you do? Even though that they played the Trooper, they usually have like the giant Eddie figure coming out, and he's dressed up as a redcoat. He's dressed up in the British Army uniform, and yeah, him and Bruce have a little dueling going on. And I've seen them do that, every other time I've seen them. But they didn't do it this round. I don't really know why. Okay, well, some friends of mine said that they weren't really planning on doing the Trooper, so they weren't prepared for it, but they did it anyway. Yeah, what can you do? And that was the other thing. The Eddie mascot came out during Writing on the Wall. He was dressed up as a sort of gunslinger, had a Stetson on, and was just kind of chilling on the stage like one of those old school outlaws. Like, yeah, sup. And then he did come out dressed up as Cyborg Eddie, the Eddie that we see on the cover of Somewhere in Time. And then Bruce gets up on one of the platforms on the side stage, and he just starts shooting sparks at him. And then Eddie raises his gun, starts shooting sparks back at Bruce, and then they just go off like that. And then some smoke starts coming right out of Eddie's head. It's like, yep, Bruce won. He always wins. Come on. So yeah, it was a great show. It was a great show. Not a bad set. I have certainly seen better, but it's Iron Maiden. It's a treat every time. Come on. Are you really going to complain? I really shouldn't be complaining. Anyway, that was one of the 3 shows that I attended to. The other one was the show Punks and Punchlines. This was my second time viewing this specific show. And this was the first one that I was not playing. Anyway, Punks and Punchlines, it's a vessel of getting a few underground comedians and a punk band together to play one whole event. So 4 comedians were playing. 4 comedians would go and do a stand-up set. That was Cody Glenn, Ben Corrigan, Nick Lucero, and Chuck Fury. And the band that was playing was American Nightmare. And there was a opening act for all of these. It was this kid who was a friend of the host who was wearing a banana suit, and he was tasked by the host / dared by him to eat a whole banana. Peel, stem, and all. And that was the warm-up act, and he did. He ate the whole fucking thing. It was pretty crazy. I don't know, I kind of gagged at the sight of it. I mean, not that I don't hate eating bananas, but the peel? Whatever, some people have a stronger stomach, but so that was a fun little introduction. Now the comedians, they were funnier this time around. Cody Glenn and Ben Corrigan, they had their moments, but they seemed a little hesitant in some parts. And Nick Lucero, he had a lot more excitement, which, in his performance, it allowed some leeway for his jokes to land. But Chuck Fury, he stole the fucking show. You could tell he was a seasoned stand-up. He came up on the stage, he said he had a list of things that he didn't want to talk about, or that he couldn't talk about, and he had it all rolled up, and then he dropped it, and it just went, hit the floor. I'm like, that is hilarious. Nice little visual gag to get the people warmed up, but in all, he was a lot more composed than the other opening acts, in my opinion, and I was holding my sides. His jokes were so damn funny. They were so funny. So yeah, the 4 comedians, each one got a 15-minute set, and then it was on to American Humor. American Humor was pretty good, though you could tell that they were pretty fatigued. And the crowd, while a bit larger than the show that I played, the other Punks and Punchlines show that I played, it was still pretty small. So that wasn't really doing them much favors. Although during one of their ska core songs, I threw down just for the hell of it. I was the only one there who was gonna be moshing like that, so it was pretty fun. And yeah, they had some fun songs. They were throwing some banter back and forth with each other, all 3 members. And another thing they did. Before the band went on, they actually had a costume contest. There were people who came up there showing up dressed as whatever, and their bassist slash vocalist was dressed as Nacho Libre, and their drummer had one of those blazers, those black blazers with orange stenciled pumpkins designed on them, these jack-o'-lanterns, and a matching tie. So he was like, I'm a jack-o'-lantern. And their guitarist, I can't remember exactly what he was dressed up as. He was, I don't know, it was something. He was dressed up, I just don't remember as what. My memory's terrible. But yeah, they had a costume contest. There was also another lady who was dressed as a scantily clad Ghostface. She was wearing all leather and lace, and she was wearing the Ghostface mask from Scream. And that one was a pretty big hit. And there was another guy who was dressed up like a cow. Just a cow. Full onesie of a cow suit. So I was like, yeah, that guy should win. But no, Nacho Libre won. What did they win? Oh, they won a little merch package for the band. But being that the guy was in the band, yeah, what are you going to do? Just hold on to your own product? I don't know what they eventually did, but it was too bad that the costume contest happened before my sister showed up, because my sister showed up dressed as Mia Wallace from Pulp Fiction. And buddy, she pulled it off. I couldn't even recognize her at first. She even did the bloody nose and everything. I said, well, hold on. Maybe I can convince somebody to get up and do that dance. You know, the dance battle that they do in Pulp Fiction where her and John Travolta are just like kind of doing whatever to that Chuck Berry song. That would have been funny, but alas, that did not happen. So overall, it was a pretty fun show, pretty fun night. I got to hang out with some of my friends, some new, some old, and got to hang out with my sister and her friends. It was nice. It was a nice little get together. Then I got invited to a Halloween party right after that. And I was on my way up there to get to that party before my friend called me and said, I'm really sorry, but the other roommates just shut it down because we were being too boisterous. I'm like, these fucking pussies. Well, thanks for inviting me. So yeah, in all, that show was pretty fun. It was definitely a better turnout than the first one. It's just too bad that it was in Harriman. And Harriman is a little enclave of the Salt Lake Valley that is so far south and west of fucking everything. Nobody goes out there. Nobody. There is nothing to do out there. This was in the one bar. It was at Redemption Bar and Grill. Probably the only bar within spitting distance of the southwest Salt Lake Valley. So I'm not surprised that people didn't show up. And there was also other shit going on. It's a Saturday night, but you think people are really going to go out of their way on Saturday night to Harriman, Utah? Thing is, Punks and Punchlines, you can do better. You can find a better venue. Anyway, the third show that I attended, this is the one I just attended last night, this day as of the 23rd of October. This was 22nd of October. I went and saw the 30th anniversary of Hatebreed. Oh, God, I was looking forward to this one. Me and my best friend bought VIP packages. That means that we got a meet and greet. We got a little package with the tour poster, and we had a patch, and we had a sticker, and we got to get that all signed. Well, not the patch and the sticker, but we got the poster signed by Hatebreed, and they allowed us to bring in some of our own items to be signed. So I brought in My Satisfaction is the Death of Desire LP, and the CD of that, and my Under the Knife CD. My friend, she brought her Divinity and Purpose LP and her Under the Knife 7-inch, and this congratulatory gift card, or not gift card, a Hallmark card. She called me up last night when I was getting off of the gym saying, you know what, I am celebrating 10 years of sobriety to any and all drugs. And it was really because hardcore and especially Hatebreed helped get me through that tumultuous time in my life. And I really want Josta, Jamie Josta, the singer, to sign something and write Perseverance on it, because that is the song that I relate to the most. And I said, okay, I will find a gift card. Why do I keep saying gift card? I'll find a fucking Hallmark card and then I'll bring it to you tomorrow. And I found one that had like these little synonyms referring to the actual word perseverance and the meaning behind it. And then she told me, could you ask them to sign it? Because my friend, she really gets nervous around meeting her so-called idols, with these people that she looked up to, a band that's incredibly important to her. And she just felt so weird about having them sign that. I said, well, they'll sign whatever they put in front of you. But she was like, I'm nervous. I'm not good at doing these things. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I know how to talk to bands, and I did. And so we get to the show, we get our little care package, and then we get in line to meet Hatebreed. And they're sitting at their table, and people in front of us are passing out whatever it is they want them to sign, and then they're reminiscing like, do you remember when you played here back in 1990 whatever, or 2003, 2004, whatever, and they're just shooting the shit, reminiscing like, yeah, that was a fun time. And here's me and my best friend, and we're here like, we are literally as old as this band, so I guess you could say we technically grew up with you, but we didn't start listening to you until we were in our 20s, really. Anyway, it was cool to meet them in person, to shake every one of their hands and just tell them like, hey, thank you for doing what you do. Your music is truly inspirational. And by the way, this is my friend. She is celebrating 10 years of sobriety, and she credits you guys with a lot of that inspiration to really keep her on the straight and narrow. Would you mind signing this card for her? Yeah, absolutely. And then, how do you want me to do it? Just put Hatebreed up on top and then we'll all sign it? Yep. So they did exactly that. And then she asked Jamie personally at the end of the line if he would just write Perseverance on there. Oh, absolutely. And he did. And it was just awesome. We all got our photos together. We got the group photo, and then we all got our individual photos. And yeah, that was that. That was a great opening to a show with a really stacked lineup. So yeah, then the show actually gets started. The first band up there was Crypta. They are this great fucking death metal band from Brazil. They are a 4-piece. They're all women, and the singer, she looked fucking evil. The way that she had her makeup done, it wasn't corpse paint or anything, but her eyeliner was just going up just enough. And I was looking at her head on, and when she like did this into the crowd, it looked like she was about to fucking come in and bite your damn head off. It was otherworldly. But they were on point with everything. They even did synchronized headbanging. They even had these, God, what do you say? These choreographed parts that go in conjunction with the rhythm of the song. It's just like the guitarist is leaning forward like this while the other guitarist is leaning back, and then they just go back and forth like this. It's so fucking cool. It was awesome to see those types of theatrics up on stage. Crypta was a nice surprise for me. I hadn't heard this band until that day, until last night. And I'm like, yeah, okay. These guys better come back. They do very well in the smaller club circuit. I guarantee it. Then the next was Harm's Way. Harm's Way, one of the biggest tough guy bands, hardcore bands this side of the century. And yeah, how could you not? How could you not want to just fucking bench press something or just pump all the irons when you put on some Harm's Way and you just are ready? Yeah, I'm ready to fuck shit up. And the crowd fucked shit up, they did. My God, does Harm's Way really bring out the beef heads. The beef heads. The meat heads. They write music that is just required for you to punch the floor. So yeah, shit got a little bit rowdy. A little bit. I was on the safest part of the crowd, far right. And I still felt a fist go into the back of my head, like, boop! I go, okay, nowhere is safe. Fucking Harm's Way. Thankfully, it wasn't so hard. It was more of a graze. Like that. But it happened. And thankfully, I didn't leave that show injured at all. So that was Harm's Way, and yes, their singer Bo, ripped Bo, he did the little dance that everyone's made a meme out of. during one of their This Is Hardcore sets. And this is the first time in 10 years that I'm seeing Harm's Way. The first time I saw them was back in 2014 when they were opening up for Expire and Suburban Scum. And it was at Cafeino Coffee, which was this coffee shop in South Salt Lake that let this one promoter, Frank Carroll, who would book shows in all these different underground spots, and he worked out a deal that they could use their back storeroom, which wasn't being used for anything, and use it as a venue. So he booked shows out of there. Expire was one of them, and that was the first time I got to see, well, both Expire and Harm's Way. And yeah, that's just a nice little piece of history, nice little bragging right that I have. So yeah, nice seeing Harm's Way again after 10 years. And I was posting everything on my story. I was like filming and just going, yeah, here we are at the show. There's the pit. And I post that and tag Harm's Way in it. And then I got a text from my friend like, dude, Harm's Way is playing? When the fuck was this? Is this tonight? I go, yeah, it's going on right now. Fuck. I should have come back a day earlier. He was driving all the way from, I think Georgia or somewhere around there. Somewhere in the southeast. Somewhere in the south of the United States. And he was saying, dude, can you buy me a shirt? Yeah, sure, I'll buy you a shirt. But even then, I went to their merch table. They had already taken everything down. They were ready to leave. It's like, okay, well, I'm sorry I can't get you a shirt, bud. Oh, dude, maybe I'll catch them while I'm still en route. Where are they playing next? And I sent him the tour poster. I'll catch them in Denver. Yeah, do it, man. Do it. So, at least there was that. And the next band was Carcass. I love Carcass. Carcass is one of those, they're just one of those metal bands that really found a way to mold grindcore and gore grind into an element of death metal that appeased both sides of that frame. And they did it so well that they became such a phenomenal hit, and they have earned the nickname surgical death metal, because they would literally take medical dictionaries, pick out all the synonyms relating to certain body parts, certain organs and everything, just so they could sound smart when they're talking about mincing all of this shit in their lyrics. And it was fun. And they played a lot of deep cuts. They played a lot of older material, although my friend pointed out that they played a shorter set. And I said, yeah, well, it's okay. We're really here to see Hatebreed. Sorry. So yeah, let's get to the fucking main event. Oh, but I also gotta mention, the pits were going nuts. There was circle pits up the fucking ass. They could not stop pitting to Carcass. And so much so that there were some drunkards who were falling down. They pick them up, they fall down again. Pick them up, they fall down again. 3 times in a row, this one guy. And he, of course, would not stop pitting. He would, whether on his back or his belly or on his feet, he was going to keep going in the circle pit. And eventually, he got too much that it got to the fisticuffs at a few points. Just a nice little 1-2 punch, and they managed to get him out of there. So yeah, that kind of sucks, but yeah, what are you going to do? Anyway, let's talk about Hatebreed. Now, Hatebreed, as the stagehands were setting up, there was a slideshow going on in the back, and they were showing these tour photos, live shots, promo photos, and old festival flyers, and that was nice just to look at all of the memories that were captured in photo over the last 30 years. That was a nice little addition. And then the house lights go out, and then a video starts playing, this introduction video, and these musicians and other artists like Ice-T, Scott Ian, Kurt Weinstein, Gary Holt, Corey Taylor, Scott Vogel, Lou Collar, and Randy Bly, among others, including comedian Brian Posehn and wrestler CM Punk, all speaking their praises for Hatebreed and congratulating them on their 3-decade run as a band. And yeah, they're like, Hatebreed, 30 years, motherfucker! And then Hatebreed walks out onto the stage, they throw up their hands, everyone's like, what the fuck's up, motherfucker? And then they go right...
Alright, I hit play. play. I'm gonna clear the dog out, and then you just start when you're ready. Come here, dog. Diamond, come on. Oh, wonderful puppy.
All right. I pull the notes out of here. And then they kick right into Tear It Down, the opening song from Rise of Brutality. One of the first Hatebreed songs I heard, but as far as the first Hatebreed songs that I've heard, I'll get to that in a minute. But then they went on through their set playing such hits like Perseverance, As Die Hard As They Come, Looking Down the Barrel of Today, A Call for Blood, and Live for This, which they dedicated to Lou Collar, you know, being that he's still fighting cancer. He is going into surgery, though, and getting this the now dead tumor removed. If you follow him on Instagram, you know he's things are looking up for him. Anyway, Hatebreed, they continue to play some of their older deep cuts like Smash Your Enemies, Last Breath, Burn the Lies, Empty Promises, and Driven by Suffering. Yeah, and I know Smash Your Enemies did come out later, but we all know it started off on Under the Knife. And yeah, then they did a cover of Slayer's Ghost for War. I was like, yeah, and my friend Dan, Dan Fletcher from Run Into the Sun, he was there, and he pulled me to the side after the show. He said, yeah, you were the only one up in the front singing the lyrics of the Slayer song. I said, well, yeah, what else did you expect? Long live Slayer. Anyway, the song that I was most pleased to hear was the song, This Is Now. Now, if I control myself, I control my destiny. Because that is the first song I ever listened to by Hatebreed. Okay, maybe not the first, but it definitely is the first one that really stuck with me. I could not get enough of that song. Because when I first got into Hatebreed, I was listening to that Rise of Brutality record. It was their newest record at that time. And that was the album I heard that sort of redefined what heavy music was for me. Well, there were plenty of records that did that, but with Hatebreed, I said, this is like metal, but it's not metal that I'm used to. This is something else. That was hardcore. So that was my introduction to hardcore. I just didn't know it yet. But so I was happy that they fucking played that. Anyway, later on, some other highlights in their set, they spoke on how Lamb of God basically perfected the Wall of Death, and that they thought, well, instead of trying to top that, how about we just create what we call the Hatebreed Ball of Death. And they told the audience that, and then they start going into destroy everything. And the audience, the crowd's already hyped up, being ready to throw down to that fucker, when all of a sudden, this giant fucking inflatable ball, this black ball about maybe 8 feet in diameter with the Hatebreed logo stamped on it, just comes rolling out into the audience. And then we just start pushing it around all over the perimeter of the venue, and then it just kept coming back. All the while, we are just yelling, destroy everything! It was a fucking blast. So yeah, I was definitely not expecting that. Ball of Death. I'm thinking, what are we all gonna do? We all just gonna start rolling into each other? Doing hardcore somersaults? But no, that was awesome. That was awesome. And they closed, fittingly enough, they closed their whole set with I Will Be Heard. And I couldn't think of a better song to really end that set. And me and a few other cohorts of mine were just all in a line, raising our fists and yelling, I will be, I will be heard. I'm like, that's how we do it. That's how we close out a fucking set. And I was pleased with the set, but according to Setlist FM, we got shorted. At least compared to a show that they played up in British Columbia last week. I'm looking at the sets. It was significantly longer, and I was seeing some songs on there that they played there allegedly and didn't play here, like Before Dishonor. I'm like, we didn't get Before Dishonor. I would have come out of hardcore pit retirement for that one. I would have lost my shit, but alas, it did not happen. Maybe if they do a 30-year anniversary of Satisfaction album, that'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, at the end of the set, when everyone's saying their goodbyes and thank yous, their farewells, Joshua was saying, we'll see you We'll see when we do Hatebreed 35-year anniversary. He said it kind of jokingly, but he knows that his fans are hoping for that. But really, I mean, we're just hoping for any new Hatebreed material. Because, honestly, they can't really do wrong. It's fucking Hatebreed, man. They are the biggest fucking hardcore band in the world. They are. That's an undisputed fact. There is no other hardcore band that is currently active that is as big and as popular as Hatebreed. There is none. I promise you, there is none. So, Hatebreed was a fucking killer show, and I even talked about this when I was doing their album review on the last. On one of the last episodes of the Punkcast, I was talking about the album Perseverance. And I thought about this when they were talking, when they did the, how many of you have seen Hatebreed before? And everybody raises their hands and starts cheering. It's like, awesome. And then, how many of you, is this your first time seeing Hatebreed? And a greater number of hands and a louder swell of cheers came from the audience. I'm thinking, holy shit, some newbies. This is awesome. So it just goes to show that their music is still reaching people, reaching new listeners just as much as it is bringing back the old heads. It is awesome. That's what I mean, what I was saying in that review, that Hatebreed hadn't really changed their sound. They haven't changed their sound at all. They just refined it. They tightened it down. They made it sound more slick. It doesn't sound like it's coming from from a DIY recording, like a basement recording or anything like that. You listen to Under the Knife and you listen to Perseverance, yeah, they sound completely different. But the music, their whole sonic trajectory is the same. It's coming from a very real place. And that's why people are still coming back. They haven't gotten too big for their shorts. They still know where they came from. And Jasta, he's still giving back. He's still pulling his weight. He had to pull his weight in the hardcore scene when they were just starting out. And he's still giving back. He still is like, I know why we're here. 30 years, it's like unfathomable for a hardcore band to be around that long consistently. No breaks or anything. Yeah, no hiatuses, no lapses in their timeline at all. Just having to be going for that hard and to be staying that humble, buddy, you can't get much better than Hatebreed. Hatebreed is just about as real as it gets. Love those guys. I'm so happy to have seen them. This is my third time seeing them, and this is really my first time seeing like the full Hatebreed effect. Because the only other times I saw them the first time I saw them was on the 2017 Warped Tour, and I mean Warped Tour says they're already like short by design. And I got there like about halfway through their set. I maybe have caught like the last 5 songs that they played. So I don't really count that. But that was also the first time I met them. They were hanging out in their booth and I just went and shot the shit with them for a minute. Bought a shirt from them that I don't have anymore. I gave it to my friend. The second time that I saw them was them opening up for Gwar. And that was still a great show. Great set, great performance. But they are still playing a set time allotted to the opening band of the headliner, So, still a good set, just not a complete set. So this was me getting the first full effect of Hatebreed, seeing a full set, going full send, and being fully satisfied. But that is the death of desire, is it not? Okay, that was enough. So, that was Hatebreed. That was a great show. I am so stoked that I'm still riding that high. And I have all my shit signed by them now. Yeah. You can tell I'm just kind of fanning out. Anyway, those were all the shows that I attended in the last week and a half. Now, for all the shows that will be coming up, on the 23rd, Shiva, Hannah Williams, Inversion, and Knuckles will be playing at Black Lung Society. That will be starting at 7 p.m. $15 entry. I actually helped with that show a little bit. Shiva contacted me saying, do you know anyone who would be down to open for this show? Because we're coming up dry here. And I was like, yeah, sent the feelers out to a few bands, gave them a few pages of bands to check out and just ask away. And that's what we got. So pretty awesome. Happy that's working out for you, Shiva. Anyway, that's starting at 7 p.m. will be $15. On the 26th, the band Misery Whip and Sewn Shut and Forever War will all be playing at Fellowship Hall. That is $12. Entry is at 8:30, so kind of a later show, but it's kind of a shorter show, so give and take. On the 26th, Gwar will be coming back with Dark Funeral. They'll be playing at the Depot. That's going to start at 6:30 p.m. and entries, the asking price, the starting price is $45. 45, brother. Be prepared to pay closer to $60 after all those fucking fees. Unless you're paying at the door, then it's actually cheaper. Fucking weird. All right, then on Halloween, the bands I Am, Maul, Life Cycles, and Zodiac Killer will all be playing at the Metro. That is a bar, so it is 21 plus. Sorry, but it's $24 to enter, and it starts at 7 p.m. And then on the 5th, Wicked Bears, Mercy Music, Crooked Teeth, and my boys in Frick, my friends in Frick, my frickin' friends, will all be playing at the Beehive. That starts at 7 p.m., and that's going to be $15.
Now take us around the world, in no particular order, that is. We're going to go with November 10th. The Freeze and Das Clown will be performing together in San Diego. Go to the holding company, ob.com, and you can get $15 pre-sale tickets. Why not? Save yourself $5. Doors at 1:30. I mean, that's like a matinee, a Sunday matinee if I've heard of one. $20 the day of. Cool bands on that one. Next, Agnostic Front, Murphy's Law, and Violent Way are coming to you, Europe. November 6th, they'll be in Schweinfurt. They'll be doing a handful of shows in Germany, 7th, 8th, and 9th. You can see them on the flyer. We will cover this more, but they'll be heading pretty much most of Europe, it looks like. At least a show, only one in Italy. They'll be in Belgium, Switzerland, a bunch in Germany, a lot in Germany. Germany, a lot of places you're going to get to see three great bands coming at you from New York City. Czechia, Poland, France, Netherlands. They'll be wrapping up there at Revolution Calling. So we'll cover that more in upcoming weeks as well. Next up, Gavel supporting Softkill and Sikkim. Three really great bands right there. And as you can tell, they will be in Gainesville on November 8th and Titusville on November 9th. So make sure if you're in those areas, get to those shows. Then we got Friday, November 1st, and Oitism Records presents Shave for Battle, Poor Impulse Control, Harsh Consequences, DHS, XL Bully. I need to look up XL Bully, but all of those bands, really great. That show will be at the Shore Style Collective in Long Branch, New Jersey. $15, 7:30 show, and it is all ages. Gotta love that all ages. And then on November 3rd, Sunday, November 3rd, you got 45 adapters with Junkhead, Shave for Battle, Scorpion, Failure to Comply, Balisong, and that will be in New York at the VFW Post 8241. 4 is the Doors, Mosh at 4:30. Gotta love those Sunday matinees. $20. Collapse will be there from Germany as well. As you can see, all of those things on the flyer. Pretty great. Next up, we've got over in, I think this one is Norwich. There it is. It's over there in UK, Norwich, Saturday, November 2nd. And you get to see Hung Like Hanratty, The Gonads, Scandal. They just put out a new album. Tear Up, Jack the Lad, and Violent Solution. Great bands. The only alternative at the B2 Brickmakers. So if you're in Norwich, go there. And WeGotTickets.com is where you can get your tickets in advance. First band's at 6. Looks like it goes late, but you're getting a lot of bands. So, of course, it would. Next up, we've got Murphy's Law doing a Halloween show in Queens at TVI. They'll be playing with Lucy and The Stress. 3 fantastic bands if you're in New York. I know they're all New York bands, so maybe you've seen them before, but if you ain't doing anything on Halloween, that's where you should be. 7 p.m. Go check that out. If you ain't handing out candy to kids, that's where you should be if you're in New York. Then CMI, they are playing on Saturday, November 2nd, a Chicagoland Hardcore Presents, and you get live sets from CMI, Pale Horse, Risk, Pain Clinic, It's a hardcore matinee. Man, everybody's doing the matinees. I love it. It's at Vegas Basement in Chicago, Illinois. Shows at 3:30, $20, all ages. Dance hard or die. I love it. Great stuff. Great bands there. I mean, I don't know all of them, but I'm sure if they're playing with the other ones, all of them are probably great. On November 3rd, Lower Class Brats will be playing in York, PA at Skid Row Garage with The Virus, Who Killed Spiky Jacket, Wayward Brigade, and No Comply. That one is stacked. That one is also at 4. It is amazing, all of these matinees. I love it. It's an all-ages matinee on the 3rd, $20 in advance, 25 day of show. So you know how to save yourself some dough. Then Poor Impulse Control, mentioned them once, one of their shows. Well, they'll be doing a few shows. October 31st in Hyannis, Massachusetts at Flashback Arcade. The 1st, Long Branch, New Jersey, the Shore Style Collective. We covered that one. On the 2nd, Upper Darby, PA at American Legion Post 214. And finally, Killingly, Connecticut at Microbe Manor, and that is on November 3rd. Then this weekend, our pal Joe Blow singing songs of the night and other horror classics. You'll scream yourself into a state of shock. And it is the 26th. Shows at 10. It's late. There's a midnight costume contest, so show up. $200 gift card prize at Holy Grail Pub. So go check out our pal Joe Blow. Then Empire Downs doing a show November 8th, Toys to the Toy Shelf in St. Paul, Coats to International Institute of Minnesota. So definitely for a good cause. It's a coat and toy drive show that'll feature The Slow Death, Mortimer's. Maybe that's the venue because I don't know any band called Mortimer's. It's probably the venue. Yep, that's at Mortimer's there. So I'm just reading the flyer as you are seeing it now. But you also get to see Lost Leader and Sleeper Cell. So for those 4 bands, $8.30, $10 or free with coat or toy. But you can feel free to do all of the above if you can. Help out folks and kids there in Twin Cities. If you're going to be over in Austria, in Vienna, November 2nd, you got Spamfest, which will feature Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls, Perkele, Frenzel Rome, Laura Jane Grace, Skinny Lister, the Meffs, Glue Crew, Chris Magrill, the Morphine Pilgrims, Punk Rock Singalong, Yokohama. A lot there. You can go get tickets at shop.spam.rocks. Again, that's on the 2nd in Vienna. So, and it's their first official Vienna edition of Spam Fest. So shout out to Stefan and everybody with Spam Records. Go support that if you're over near Vienna. Some cool bands on that bill. Also this weekend, October 26th, at Hotel Vernon in Worcester, Massachusetts, $7. And you got to be 21 and older, but it gets you in to see Muscle Car, Grip Bite, Speed Teeth, and Mass Spy, who's doing their first show and EP release. So that's definitely going to be a band on my list to check out in the coming week. Then we move to Leeds, over in Leeds on November 1st at the Fox and Newt. You can go see Eyes Open, the Swindells, the Allergics. Great stuff from those bands right there. The two, I need to check out Eyes Open, industrial grade dark punk. That sounds something right up the alley of the Punkcast, so we'll have to check that. But £7 cash only at the door, or $5 in advance on C's tickets. With fees and shit like that, I mean, when they're that close, and I'm not saying don't buy them in advance, but you're probably paying the fees there. But it's 7:30 until 11, so go check out Swindells, the Allergics, and let me know how Eyes Open are. Again, I'm not familiar with them. This weekend in Dundee, over in Scotland, October 25th, 26th, you got Punktober Fest, Beat Generator, Live Dundee. The band you get to see is Face Up, Spunk Volcano, and the Eruptions. You can see the list. It is very large, but some of the other bands that we've played on between this show and Punk and I Worldwide, Hateful, The Guillotines, Razortooth, and Surgery Without Research. Definitely going to have to check out more of those bands because I'm sure if they're all playing together, pretty awesome. It's £12 Friday, $20 Saturday, or you can get the whole weekend for $25. I mean, that's a good deal there to get that $25. Punktoberfest, Dundee.bigcartel.com if you want to get your tickets there. Then our pals in Easy Company on October 27th, they're playing at the Black Dog in Cork, 10 p.m., free entry. Go check them out. They're awesome. I can't wait to get to see them live at some point someday. Also this weekend, this one is in Ventura, California at Gigi's. On the 25th, 21 and older, 8 p.m. show, you get to see The Afraid, Hunting Lions, Schoonthorpe Yobs, Toledo Panic, and Plot. Go to Eventbrite if you want to get your $8 pre-sale tickets or $10 at the door. So go to that one if you're in California. Also, if you're in California but not in the same place, this is at Wild West Arena, where is Wild West Arena? I thought it said somewhere on here. Anyway, you can get more details if you go to Left Alone Official, because that's where I'm getting these. It's a rain or shine, so I assume it's outdoors because they'll have hot rod custom cars and choppers. It's the Hippie Killer Hoedown. The band you're going to see, Manic Hispanic, Left Alone, Love Crimes, Greg Antista, and the Lonely Streets, Deacon Dimes, and more. They've got a lot of sponsors. They'll have food, vendors there, bands, booze. It is a day there on the 26th, so hopefully they get wonderful weather. And last, certainly not least, next weekend they'll have a festival in Philly, in Upper Darby, PA. On the 1st, you get to see Membranes, Death Blow Hammer, Unwanted Noise, The Ruffians, YDI, The FUs, FOD, and Cheap Sex. That starts at 5:30. And then at 5 on the 2nd, starting with Straight Red FC, Poor Impulse Control, Impact Driver, The Parasitics, Collapse from Germany, Blank 77, and The Virus. It is both days. If you buy in advance, it's $40. Individually, it's $20 and $25. Or day of the shows, it will turn into like $55 to do them individually. So definitely worth it to get your stuff in advance. Go see our pal Kurt with Dismantled Records there as well. That will wrap this up. Eric?
So this was SLC Punkcast live around the world. It's a working title. It's still in the workshop. A lot of this is still in the workshop, but we're just going through with it anyway. So until next week, I've been Eric. We'll see you next time.